I can't help it if you join late. I can't. There's nothing I can do about it.
What the hell are you even talking about going on fast?
What? I don't even know what's going on.
When I said we're going to go live, you said already?
Yeah, because... Just get... Yeah. You just walk into that Verizon store. Don't even say a word. Just walk in the Verizon store, point at a phone, and say, I want that. And if they start talking, just slap them right in the mouth.
Okay, you've obviously not been in a Verizon store anywhere around me. No, what you do is you walk in a Verizon store, you give them your name, you sit around for an hour to an hour and a half.
No. I've done that. I've done that. When they come up, take your name, slap them right in the mouth.
Oh, why didn't you say that earlier? Okay.
That's guaranteed to work. I get you. I guarantee you'll get a response.
Get a reaction, yes. Oh. You know it's bad when two people pull you out of meetings and ask you if you're having a heart attack. You know that's not a good sign.
What?
I literally had two people pull me out of meetings and ask me if I'm having a heart attack because I've had, starting Saturday, like shooting hot pain going down the front of my shoulder in like a line.
Oh boy.
And it like stops right here in like a little knot.
Oh boy.
And I said, no, if I was having a heart attack, I'd be dead by now because I've been having this pain for 4 days.
Yeah.
It just hurts. I blame the kids. It's easy.
That works.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Here, I gotta... Oh, you want to do real stuff now?
I don't know, do I? Something tells me that ink is not real stuff.
Are we doing, is this are you going to break it up to do a daily show? Because I'm not used, are we still doing,
no, I mean...
What?
I don't know what he said. I'm waiting to see his reaction. No, we're not breaking him to the daily show. I mean, we didn't prep any for it at all.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I have no clue how you guys do it when you do it. Break it down to be like a daily.
Well, he already broke it back up into a 3-day a week.
Oh, it's 3-day a week, and by next month it's going to be back to where it was before.
No comment. It ain't up to me. I'm just a participant.
I know.
I'm not listen to the video I just put in the chat there. That's what I'm listening to. I'm not paying attention to you guys.
You never do. Do you have your Audacity up and running?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, give me 90 seconds. Actually 30.
Seconds.
We've got the biggest.
I say 90, but I mean 30.
Oh.
That's copyrighted material, Josh. Take it easy.
Bum. Okay.
We cannot play copyrighted material on Podnuts.
Dun. That's enough that YouTube would tag you.
Yes.
Trust me.
That's why
I actually tried it, and they did.
In less than 2 shows, we're not going to be using YouTube on-air Hangouts anymore.
Oh, really?
Mark my word.
What are we going to use?
We're not going to broadcast any video live. We're going to be broadcasting audio live via Insta Radio.
Okay.
So pretty soon I can talk about all the big balls I want.
I would love to see that.
Probably not.
I've got big balls, and she cannot lie.
Tyson Brooks, I don't know if you wanted to catch this part of the show. You might have wanted to be a little bit later, because Josh is still talking about male reproductive organs.
All right, I'll turn it off.
What's wrong with male reproductive organs? We all got them. Well, most of us.
Actually, some of us don't. They're called women.
That's true.
And some of us might not have the full set of peripherals.
My brother-in-law only has one.
Due to an accident when they were a child with a bike with no seat on it.
Are you referring to anyone?
I don't know if I am, but if I am, I apologize.
Sounds like you had a metal enema when you were younger.
Yeah.
No, the guy the kid that lived by me, and nobody believed him until one day he literally pulled down his shorts in the middle of school. Then we believed him.
Well, my brother-in-law, he's only got one, and he's got three kids.
Well, it's not going to cut off the number of kids you have. It just cuts off the amount you weigh.
This needs to be Ariel.
Unless he suffers from elephantitis, then he's still compensating for the weight.
Ariel, size 11.
You're a bad influence, Josh. Did you see Martin?
Yeah, I did. That friggin' idiot.
I don't know who he is anymore. I don't know him.
What's changed besides his beard?
His beard. I don't know who he is anymore. I wouldn't be able to pull him out of a crowd.
I noticed that he grew a beard, but...
No, he cut it off.
Oh, he cut it off?
Oh, it's all gone?
Yeah.
But didn't he did not have a beard, but when we were at Linux Fest, it was just like a real short beard?
I don't know.
I thought so.
I don't notice that kind of stuff. Do you have Audacity running now, Ellis?
Yes.
Okay, do me a favor. Hit record in 3, 2, 1. Record.
Josh is a goat.
Okay.
No.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
I was going to ask you. In the background, I got a fan running. Is that too loud? Can you guys still hear me fine?
I can't hear it at all.
Okay.
Where is Marcus Brown? There was a video I wanted to reshare on Android L. Gosh.
Okay.
It's a problem when you're subscribed to 30 people on YouTube.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready. Dora, I know she haven't changed her name yet on Google Plus.
No, because it's still... when I do it, I still get, like... It looks exactly the same as it did before, and I still get the exact same warning as I did before when I go to change my name.
Oh, really? Because I've already changed mine. I don't know if you noticed. I changed mine. I got mine changed last night. The only thing is you're required to have something in both box, first and last name, but it can be anything.
Right, yeah, because I put DoorToDoorGeek and then period.
Yeah, you can do DoorToDoorGeek, and then you can do period in the last name. That is in the recommendations if you don't want it, because you can't leave the second name.
Oh, try to get the stuff off? Mm-hmm. Okay. I love you, goofball.
It looks like I have a white mustache.
That makes you look tough,
man.
Typically,
mustaches aren't above your nose.
No, they aren't.
This one is.
Maybe like a Muppet's mustache or something. Need you to go to bed.
Okay.
I love you.
it's a really good thing you can't hear me.
Yes, I know. Don't worry about it, buddy. Go ahead. Go to bed. Goofball.
If you want to, you could do what I did. I did Clark Kent, and then my last name, I did Ellis Owens, but I did it in brackets, because if you do it in parentheses, they don't count, but if you do it in brackets, they do. Don't ask me why. So that worked for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did do the period. I had Clark Kent, and then I had period in my last name, and that worked for me too, but I didn't like how it looked. So I decided just to do Ellis Owens behind it. So,
gotcha. Okay, I'll do that then after the show.
So
I'm going to change mine into DoorToDoorGeek.
you should change yours to Knucklehead. But yeah, if you already go ahead, mine's already been changed and updated.
Okay. Okay, are you guys ready to go?
Oh, we're doing a show? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mobile Dynasty, episode 13. My name is DoorToDoorGeek, a.k.a. Steve McLaughlin. This is a show where we talk about basically all kinds of advanced topics with mobile computing in general. And I honestly believe as the Internet of Things becomes a little bit more popular, some of that's going to bleed into here, but I guess only time will tell. Tonight I am joined by Ellis, Clark, Kent Owens. How's everything going, man?
Everything's going good. Some people might have noticed this, some people might have not. My wife is pregnant. We actually finally announced it last week. She is 14 weeks along, and I'm actually having twins. I do not know the sex yet. So, yes, that's the crazy part. So, she's doing okay. Tired all the time, 90% of the time, and throwing up the other half of the time. So, that's how my life is going right now. Other than that, I'm actually doing okay. So, me and my dog are hanging in. So,
That's good. Just encourage you to get as much sleeping and napping in before the birth.
I'm trying.
All done. You'll never get any more again.
And this week we're joined by KnuckleHeadTech Josh Williams. How are you doing, Professor Frankenstein?
I am doing fine, sir. I am happy to be here. I was terrified of the fact that we were going to have another Ellis running around. Now we're going to have two more. We're screwed. We're done. How are you doing?
Two more. Well, it's funny you ask how I'm doing, Josh, because right after our last recording, I was doing very well. And then I was doing very bad. But now, I'm doing very well again. And it started out with buying on Swappa a Moto X for $200 when the going price was $280. But I got it for $200 because the back had a little bit of damage on it. $80 less than the normal market value because of a little bit of damage on the back, and you can easily get a case to cover the back for $4, $6. So I saved $80 and spent literally $40 because I bought a bunch of them. So I could go back and forth. But then later that day, I got the phone activated, got the SIM activated, came home, touched the phone a little bit, touched the phone a little bit, touched the phone a little bit, and then a couple hours later decided, okay, that's enough. Time for me to go get root. And I made a very classic blunder of not doing proper research, jumping the gun, and everything I saw on YouTube, at least, that was showing the rooting process, it would go into the fast bootloader, and I could see it say at the very top, I have a child here.
Oh my goodness. This is scary, Josh.
Hi.
I owe that kid some screaming.
He doesn't have a shirt on, but he has something. He has other stuff on, thank God.
Oh my goodness.
You're going to bed?
Yeah, but one thing off, she gives you a kiss.
Okay. Now look at me. You're going to wake up mad tomorrow because you're going to bed late. I'm just reminding you of this, okay?
Okay.
I love you.
Hi, Daddy.
Do you want to say bye to everyone?
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, here was the story I know exactly where I was at. Sorry about that, people. I jumped the gun. I was watching videos of people rooting their Moto X, and everyone was doing it from the fast boot screen on the device. And every time I looked at that screen, I saw it say bootloader unlocked. And all the videos I saw were entitled Moto X Verizon rooting, or the exact model number of it, like X1600 or whatever.
Yeah.
On Verizon, and it kept saying Verizon. So I took for granted, oh, I must need to unlock my bootloader. Yeah. So I made the mistake of going through the process via the Motorola Build website, or Motorola Mobility website, to genuinely unlock my bootloader. I go there, I run the commands against my phone, I get a specific code out of my phone, I take the code, I paste it into their thing, I hit the submit button, I register via my email. A couple minutes later, I get another code, and I get a warning, EULA. I don't read that. Click, bang, go. I get the code, I type the code into my computer, I hit enter, and it says failure. command failed. It didn't work. I looked at the phone, and the screen was off. It was black. So I tried running the command again. Failure. And I got a different failure. Failure to connect. The screen was black. It was off. I held down the power button. The screen was off. I plugged it up to a power outlet. The screen was off. I plugged it up to a computer. The screen was off. And my computer didn't recognize the device being plugged in. So I let the phone sit around for a day or two. I said I bricked it. I tried to remove the battery a little bit, but then I realized this thing had glue on the back. And every time I picked up the phone, I said this on Android App Addicts that got published today, I believe. Every time I picked up the phone, the screen was black, and all I saw was the reflection of myself in the screen, which was a constant reminder of my incompetence of not doing proper research. And everything I looked at said, basically, it's bricked. And not temp bricked, not soft bricked, not light bricked, not fluffy bricked, not foamy bricked, but bricked. More than a couple people did one of two things. Gave up on the device, went to Verizon, got a new device, or basically lied and said their phone was broke or whatever and got a new device via assurance. I didn't want to do that. Come into the situation, Josh, who said, and I quote, "I've never let a device beat me, and I never will." So I sent Josh the device. Josh said vehemently, with passion in his voice again, "Don't expect me to even touch this thing for a couple weeks. I'm far too busy to even look at this thing." Okay, whatever, fine. I don't care. I'm on the Galaxy Nexus. It's fine. It's working. And then literally like 2 or 3 days later, Josh, I get pinged by you. You started asking me what was the build number, what was the, the Android version on the device and stuff like that, and I don't know. I posted it in a Voxer chat that I then cleared the chat, and the picture was on the device, and I can't access the device. I don't know. And then can you explain to people what happened, what you did, Josh?
Well, first I thought it was going to be, everybody says their phone's bricked. It's soft bricked. I've yet to see a phone that is actually truly bricked. Basically what happens when your phone is bricked like that is it ignores everything in your phone that makes it a phone. It goes back to just the basic hardware. Only thing your computer picks up is the Qualcomm chipset. That's all that it sees. It knows that there's power going to a chipset, and it tries to put some kind of a device in the device manager. So I'm thinking, yeah, Door's an idiot. This will be easy, no problem. Can't be that hard. Dude, this thing it did nothing. I mean, it literally did nothing at all. I come to find out it didn't really matter so much about the Android build. I thought it did. It had more to do with the chipset. And let's see. Do you want me to go through the whole thing?
As much as you want
to. Story? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I went through a bunch of the different things. I finally found one XDA post. It says how to resurrecting a bricked Moto X. And that, if you guys notice, there's another set of notes in our Okay, so you already got that.
Yep.
Anyhow, I just followed that, and it pretty much gave me everything I needed. Now the thing about it is this has to be done all on Windows. I saw a few people claiming they can do it in Linux, but I don't believe it. I don't see it. I don't see it working in Linux because they want you to fight with Windows. Anyhow, so what happens when you connect up to Windows? You open your device manager, however you normally do it. You can figure it out yourself. But what you're going to see in there with the Moto X, it's got the Qualcomm chip in there, and you're going to see an entry in there with like a little triangle saying it didn't work.
Right.
It'll be QHSUSB_DLOAD. So basically that's saying Qualcomm something or other USB, it's ready for a download. It's ready for you to do something to that device. So you've got to get the right driver, not for your Moto X, but for that chipset. So in this post, this guy, if I could ever meet this guy, Gandalbalu SC, I would hug him and I may actually kiss the guy This is like one of the best posts I've ever seen in XDA, because I tend to go ahead of things and I read a little bit too fast, and that was my problem in this post. Not his, it was mine. I made mistakes. Anyhow, you do the drivers, you install them. And the thing of it is, in Windows 7, if you get unsigned drivers, which basically means that Windows isn't going to sit there and put their stamp of approval saying, yay, verily, Windows approved, then you can't install them. So what this guy did is he got the right tool, and I remember the exact name of the tool. It's Blink Flash, I think is what it's called.
Q Flash?
No, Q Flash is
I tried.
Is the actual tool you use for flashing the bootloader back to the phone. Anyhow,
Blank
the
Flash?
notes will be there. Yeah, it might be Blink Flash. No, it's the DSEO13B.exe, whatever that is.
Gotcha.
I can't. I'm on Linux. I'm on Windows machines at work, so I can't really look at it. So anyhow, you go into that. Okay, you get your drivers, you unpack them, or unzip them, whatever you call it, and then keep track of where they're at, because you're going to need them. So you run that utility, and you can use this. This utility is actually good to have any Windows machine. This is not just for this. So you have to take this utility and you use this to install the drivers, and it basically, shoves them where they need to be. But in order for the system to recognize the drivers, this is the part that I did not pay attention to, and I was getting very, very angry. The second step is in there, it basically pulls up like a C script window, and in there you have to check one next box, and it says put Windows into testing mode, basically. And you enable that testing mode, and then you got to reboot your machine. Well, I missed the testing mode thing, so I was all excited for the drivers and wanting to fix it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. There is a way, I know on the command line, it's a super long string to enable testing mode in Windows 7 that will let you install signed drivers,
Right.
but it's like really suggested against doing.
Well, it takes Windows and it puts it, Windows already so secure, it puts it into an even less secure mode, if you can believe that.
Right.
So once you get it into the testing mode, and then you can plug your device back into there, it'll pick it up as, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it picks it up as a Qualcomm device. So it still doesn't say Moto X. And then from there, it's technically pretty simple. You run this Q Flash, and this Q Flash tool, now we use this on a Moto X. I saw was used on a ton of devices. So if you got that Qualcomm chipset and you plug your phone up and it's bricked and it has that QHS USB _ deload in your device manager, this is the tool you use. This Q Flash with its extended parameter should work. Okay, so don't think just because we're talking about Moto X it doesn't apply. It applies to I found 8 to 10 different phones it works with. So I won't go through the whole string of the command that you run. It'll be in the notes, but basically you run qflash.exe. Now the easy way in Windows to do this is right inside your file manager. Just hold down Shift and right click and you say run command prompt here. But the thing of it is, make sure in Windows that you have your UAC or user access control disabled. That's friggin' garbage. Get that out of your way. And then I still will open up your command prompt. And this is everybody always says open, type CMD and start, and then right click and run as administrator. I never do that. I run it once. I do CMD in Windows, run it as administrator, then pin that to your taskbar. And every time Windows opens, it always opens as administrator.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so right click in that folder, run command prompt from there, and then you do the Q Flash. Now the next thing you got to know is the one thing you got to pay attention to is qflash.exe-com, whatever the number is.
Right.
Like you guys probably remember, like old serial and when USB 1, you'd had to know which COM number it was, or you couldn't get a connection. You couldn't get a printer where you couldn't get certain things to work. And that's basically what this is doing. It's got to know the right COM port.
Right, and that is, I'm guessing, when you're looking at it in Device Manager, hopefully you can get it from there.
Exactly. It'll say it right in there.
Yeah, because this was back in the day of computing, whenever you added anything, a mouse, a keyboard, a CD, you always had to know the IRQ and the COM, always.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's right in your list of serial devices in your device manager, if I remember right.
Gotcha.
So it'll say COM 35, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
So
So what I gather is this Q flash is essentially very similar to what on the assembly line the phone gets put together, and this is the step after it gets put together. They put Q flash against the phone to do the initial base, fresh, new configuration install of Android or of the base BIOS operating system layer.
right, that's my understanding. Right,
Very cool.
BIOS is exactly it, because if you are flashing your BIOS on your computer and for some reason power goes off, you do something wrong, you have the exact same scenario as we have with this phone.
Right.
No different. So anyhow, you run that command, and it's got a hex file in there. It's got a bootloader.bin file. It's an image. And you run that, the -v. I saw a few guys running it without -v, and other forum posts. Don't do that. Run it with -v. That's a verbose,
Right.
and that'll give you more output in your terminal. If you don't do that, you really don't know if it worked. So if you come across another post and it says don't use -v, please do that. So at this point, it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. So what I did is I did that. It would not recognize the device. I ran this for probably, I don't know, I was excited, so I was trying to go at probably an hour to 2 hours. I was trying different cables. I was trying different ports. I tried USB 3. I tried USB 2. Just all over the place until I finally just got pissed off, shut everything down, and left, went home. Next day I come back in. I reinstalled the driver again. Just went through the process to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I noticed in part of the post it says use Q-Flash, and you take it and you put it in the root of your C. So when you unpack the Q-Flash zip file, you put that in the root of your, so you go like C, Q-Flash, and then that's where your executable is. I tried that. I don't know what I did. Eventually it started to recognize the device a little bit. And I put the whole output of my command prompt into our show notes. That way these guys could see it. But basically it starts off saying, no data you read from USB. Just couldn't pick it up. And another one was, there's an error about MG or MPG, but there's an error about the hex file. I started getting to work. You know that moment when you've been working on something and it's electronics, you know it's just a stupid device. It's just ones and zeros. It's not smarter than you. You're going to win. So you see that starting to work, and you're like, yes, it's going to work. And then it fails. I will not lie, I almost smashed your phone at that point.
Well, I did say on Android App Acts, I believed one of two things was going to happen. You were going to will the phone to work, or you were going to shoot it.
Pretty much.
And I really wasn't sure which one was going to happen, because I knew from what I saw it would take great lengths to get working, or it was dead. And I couldn't tell which one it was. So when I sent it to you, I literally had no indication on whether or not you were going to A, have the patience, but B, have the wherewithal to go through all the different steps and tricks and switches and tweaks to figure out what was the secret combination to get stuff working. But I do know the lower level the application, which this sounds like a very low level, like almost DOS type application, the more little stupid things like folder permissions and file path string lengths matter.
Right.
You know.
I think that's where I honestly, I don't remember exactly what I did, but I did something, and then I started getting a different output in the command prompt, and that's when I started copying it all off, and I kept it in a notepad file. It actually started to recognize the device, and then as soon as it recognized the device, it would give a warning of what I'm kind of thinking is, because, okay, here's the dirty secret, and this is what I really think happened. Mr. Stephen McLaughlin, DoorToDoorGeek, unlocked a very locked bootloader. So they did not, this particular command did not expect the right read size of where it's shoving this bootloader file. It was the wrong size.
Right.
That's the best thing I can imagine. So it just kept failing, and finally I just got pissed off, and I ran it again and again and again and again, and it just, basically like a kid throwing a temper tantrum.
Well, no. This is like the guy who won't stop doing CPR on somebody, even though 5 people around him are like, dude, what are you doing? Stop. Stop. It's done. It's over. Stop. And you're sitting there, no! No! But you were right.
Well, and you can see, I doubt you're going to want to put this in the show notes, but you can tell everybody there is the second to
Oh, you
there's
muted
just a
on me.
string.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Good.
Am I there? Oh.
You're there. Good.
The string,
Yeah,
it's just 0x7e, blah, 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 and this goes on. You can imagine the size of your command prompt is tiny. It basically filled up my whole screen of all these errors, and it's like saying, stop doing this. So the last thing it says is failed to send parameter request. I just jerked the phone off. I stopped, walked out of the office, walked around for a minute, came back, plugged it back up, and I was right back to the original thing of no data read from USB. So I really thought I broke your phone.
Right.
Went ahead, plugged it up into power. All I can figure is what it did is it was able to write enough data that it was able to get back to a state that it was when you unlocked it, when it got bricked. Because I plugged it up, and within a couple seconds, I was setting the phone down, and this beautiful, gorgeous, one of the sexiest screens I've ever seen on a phone says, your Motorola, blah, 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 hasn't unlocked bootloaders.
See, this is the message that John Q. Public, if they were to see it, they would like drop the phone in fear that hackers just overtook their phone and the sky is falling, and now the NSA and they would literally get paranoid by it. Where with Ellis, Josh, or me sees it, and we start getting tingly all over.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. So
Yes,
then it just
from that
started
point,
working.
Yeah, I sat there, and I really didn't think it was going to, because the next step in the tutorial is you got to, with all of us that have run Motorola, you got to flash an SBF file that takes it to the, raw Android with all the Verizon junk on top of it state. So I was excited. I was going to let it charge all the way up because, don't flash an SBF file or any kind of an Odin or anything unless your phone is charged up all the way.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, don't do it. Not smart. So I'm letting it charge up. Yeah, I'm all excited. And then it kind of just sat there. What the hell's going on? Well, most of them, they have like the key combination. I think yours is power and volume down will do a hard reboot.
Yes, sir.
So I did that, and it come back up, and it gave me a little warning screen. Then all of a sudden, it was black again. So I thought I was broke again. You stare at those phones, it feels like it takes forever. It was black again. I thought I screwed it up, and all of a sudden, it just flashed Verizon. Or no, it was the Motorola spinning Earth thing is what it was.
The globe.
Exactly. And that went for, I want to say, 3 minutes. Set it down on the table, and next thing I know, it was booting into Android. I didn't do anything to that point. I mean, it was just, it did it all on its own, like the hand of God himself said, you will work. And it was on Android.
Well, the hand of Josh. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question, because this is what I gather. This phone is the anomaly on our planet. This is a phone that should not exist. This is a non-developer edition. Motorola X. Verizon. Verizon compatible. Verizon furnished. Verizon bought. This was bought from Verizon originally before I bought it. That has an unlocked bootloader. As far as I can tell, as far as I know, this is not supposed to be possible.
Not without having the actual vendor or manufacturer tools.
No, you're correct, Dor.
Yeah, so logic is that there might have been a time in recent history, because this phone now I want to say is close to 10 months old, if not 10 months old.
August is when it came out.
So 11 months old.
11 months old, yeah.
If this phone was only a month or two old, and we were able to get this bootloader unlocked, I'm thinking this phone might have had actual street value to someone, where a developer edition, I believe when it was brand new, was like $600, to where if we could have unlocked this and sold it, we could have literally got $400 for it, kind of thing. So the idea of that kind of blew my mind, but it's the kind of thing now, I don't care, I'm not selling it, doesn't matter. Uh, I honestly figured there was a small degree of likelihood that I could get it unbricked, but I honestly felt too discouraged. I I felt like the phone beat me because of my incompetence. So Josh was able to do his miracle work. Hence, he's now Dr. Frankenstein. So, dude, good job.
Well,
That's all I gotta say.
I'll be perfectly honest. My first inclination, as soon as it started working, is I wanted to relock the bootloader and go through the process again just to see if it could be duplicated.
Gotcha. Well, it was a simple. If I had the right phone to unlock the bootloader, was a very simple process. It was just have it go into fastboot, type a fastboot command. It will retrieve a unique ID of the phone or header or master boot record key or whatever. You send that to Motorola. They send you a code back. You type a very similar fastboot command with a string behind it, hit enter, and it's supposed to unlock.
Yeah, that's how my Moto X was. I had the T-Mobile variant, which the T-Mobile variant was the same as the GSM Unlocked. They were actually the same model number. Most people didn't realize this until they got their hands on it. Which the GSM developer version was the one that people needed for AT&T. So, which they have one for Verizon. So, Dor, you mentioned the back was damaged. Did you know that you can remove the back and swap the back plates? The back plates are removable. There is a guide somewhere next to EA. People buy back plates and sell and swap them all the time off of eBay. I saw it. It was on when I still have my Moto X. I still actually use it from time to time, even though I have my M8. And it's quite a popular thing to do. The back plate is removable. Right. You can pop it off. So
yeah. Well, yeah, there's only a little bit of damage, where you can see right there. I'm getting a good reflection on it. There's only
looks like
really little
glue or something.
No, it's actually like scratches in it.
Okay.
To where it's flat, because the back is supposed to be like mildly textured, but where it's damaged, it's a little bit flat. I did see the way to do it that I saw was basically there's a tube like sock thing you can buy that's like gel filled. Put it in the microwave. When it comes out of the microwave, sit it on top of the phone for like 2 minutes, and then you can very easily, they say, take the back off. Liam Tidwell, I can't remember. Oh, he said all he uses is a heated blanket from Walmart. He said I just take the phone, I put it inside the heated blanket, I turn it on, I come back half an hour later, it back comes right off. So I know it's possible. I'll say for now, I just doing the little sleeve, because now I'll say I'm to the point where I don't think I'm ever going to put an actual case on a phone again. I don't care that much. Worst case scenario, if I damage the phone too much, I'll take the battery out, call up my insurance company, and say, hey, I can't find my phone, send me a new one, and I'll pay the difference.
Well, talking about sleeves and phones, me and my dad recently quit buying cases. We actually got I know it's that was recently mentioned. Us discussing. We've been buying decal wraps, which we got ours from. Let me look at my email. Give me a second. We got ours from Slick Wraps.
Oh, Slick Wraps.
Yeah, there's Slick Wraps and there's D-Brand. Those are probably the two biggest. Slick Wraps have more devices than D-Brand, but they both use 3M material grade. But D-Brand, from my readings, is they seem to have a better sticking quality. But the way they come off is you just peel them. So I've actually done my own phone. I'm in red carbon fiber, and then I have white carbon fiber in the front. My dad has leather. He has alligator leather, and it feels like real leather. But I mean, I have maybe one spot in the front that's peeling just because I stick it in my pockets and pull it out, and sometimes it catches the lip. But I've had it on for 6 weeks now. I have no issues with it. You can get custom prints or logos in the back. They're just $10. I've seen people put all sorts of logos. I've seen put Batman. I've seen put Punishers. You could put a company logo or even a Pod Nuts logo in the back. but D-Brand, if I'm not mistaken, makes one for the Moto X. So that's like $10 or something. They're real easy to install. They're actually easier to install than actually a screen protector because it's like putting on a sticker. You can put it down. If it's not right, you can peel it up. You put it down. Once it's set, then you just press real hard. So, I mean, if you can put a sticker on, then you can put one of these on. It's not that hard. But my dad had issues with his phone because it wasn't cut right. I know with a proximity sensor. I know he talked about that with us in Boxer. But mine I've not had issues with. It was just with his LG G2. They did not cut his right. Me and him both went with slick wraps. I might try later on D-Brand, or I think he's going to try D-Brand with his M8. But it's something to look at. I know Marcus Brown, which is a popular YouTuber for Android. He actually did a video in June about this, and he did a study and found out that phone cases actually don't work unless you get the giant $50 OtterBox. So he actually uses wraps too because they will prevent scratches and nicks. So he goes the wrap route, and he recommends wraps. So he actually works with D-Brand. He gets D-Brand actually wraps them for him. So he sends them to him, and they wrap them because he's got some deal worked out with D-Brand because he's a popular YouTuber. But it's an option if you want to look at that. But I went to the whole decal route, which a lot of people are starting to go to because for $10 you can get something you want. If you want a Seattle's logo, they'll put a Seattle's logo, whatever color you want, and you can just throw it on. And if you don't, when it's time to take it off, you just peel it right off, and then you can give the phone away.
Well, okay, so I'm going to guess there's no like residue from the stick.
No, nope.
But here's the important question. Is it like also the front screen protector in you might get a bubble and you might get a bubble that is hard to get out, or are these wraps somehow not like you don't have to worry about them as much?
Well, see, screen protectors don't have adhesive. That's why you sometimes have to put the water down. You kind of have to get them. Well, they put light adhesive. Since this is 3M vinyl tape, tape because it's made out of 3M vinyl, it's already pre-adhesive and it's very sticky. So I don't have any bubbles because you just put it down and then you just fully smooth it. It doesn't get bubbles because the way it's like a sticker. It doesn't get bubbles if you put it down. So, and everyone I've seen, there's a huge thread on the HTC M8 from Slicker Wrap. It's I've got over almost 1,200 replies. There's tons of people post pictures. None of them have bubbles. So it's different because I think the front adhesives, the front screen protectors, they can't quite put adhesive because I think it will affect the way you looking through it as opposed to like a vinyl wrap, because then a vinyl wrap, they can put more glue, I would say, or adhesive as opposed to a screen protector, and I think that's why screen protectors get bubbles because they don't have enough sticking. But my dad has his. I looked at his on his LG. If he has the artificial leather, it feels great. So I went with carbon fiber, which carbon fiber kind of gives this kind of rough feel. It's kind of it's kind of like rough plastic. So I love the feel of it. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good to know. I'll definitely take a look at them.
Yeah, it's definitely something to take a look at them. You can, and like I said, if you want to put something custom, I know you're a Seahawks fan. They could hook you up, or if you want to put a Pod Nuts logo or something on it, they'll put a Pod Nuts logo or something.
They have a wood series.
Yeah, they have a wood series. Yeah, I almost got wood myself.
Well,
I don't know.
You got wood at one point.
Gotcha. So, honestly, I've said this to Josh personally, and if it isn't obvious, there is a way I could thank him. I can't afford to thank him properly, I'll say that. So, I now have an actual, factual, non-fake 3-year-old first generation 4G LTE, horrible battery life, but very open phone. I now have a much more closer to current phone, but I will say the only thing I got to say about the Moto X is using it now for almost a week, I'll say. Like, no, I don't even know how long. It's a blur. A couple days. It's painfully obvious. My original assumption, what I heard about the phone, is very true, and that is, if you look at the specs of this phone versus other phones, you're going to believe the other phones are more powerful. This is like the 32 versus 64-bit argument. You're going to believe the other phones must perform better because their specs are so much higher. But the Android operating system was so heavily modified, tweaked, and optimized for the hardware of this phone, you get a very, very good user experience on the device. I honestly believe it is just as good user experience as quote-unquote today's modern phones.
Yep. Well, I can tell you, I took my Note 3. It was still running 4.3 at the time, and I had it right next to your Moto X. And your Moto X was faster. I mean, I click something, boom, opens. My Note 3, you click something, it opens, but it's not. You can tell a difference. It's unbelievable how fast that little phone is.
Yeah, and little is a very accurate description of it. This phone's physical height and width and screen size is very comparable, very close to the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, which is another reason why I honestly went towards this phone, is I'm already kind of used to the size and shape of it, you know?
Yeah, when I first got my Moto X, it was the beginning of January, I knew that it had heavy, it was, that was a big thing they talked about. It was Android that was optimized for hardware, which we don't see, which what Apple does with the iPhone. Apple does that with their iPhone, and I was shocked how quick it was, because my Note 2 wasn't even that fast. There's a few things that are offloaded to the side processors. The Google Now, which I didn't quite use a lot. I did use some, but it depends. You have to be a heavy, I think, Google Now user to be a consistent user, and Dora, you're probably figuring that out with the Google Now, the off-screen Google Now, and the lock screen. The lock screen, since it's operated all by its own processor, which I think the lock screen is probably the thing I actually miss. I even miss it on my HTC M8. I still miss that lock screen, because they built that lock screen, and it being contextual and everything, that you pull out of your pocket, it automatically notifies you. It's very clean. It's simple. There's tons of apps in the market to simulate it.
But they're just a simulation. They're
just a simulation, and they're never compared to it. And there's no LED on it, and because they've found out Motorola LEDs burn about 10% battery, and most of the time people don't even look at them. So that's why they went with the kind of the smart lock screen, and it is so true. And I really miss that. Now, if this next Motorola phone, they're talking about 5 inches, they're going with everything that what a HTC M8 or Galaxy S5 has, I'll probably get it, because I've told my wife, I said, that Motorola phone I absolutely loved. When I need to do hands-off stuff, I could do hands-off stuff. I could sit. I did it several times. I would be working, and I would just turn my phone, and I would just, say, okay, Google, and blah, 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 give me the weather, send a text to my wife, and it would do it, and that was a really nice feature. I had to kind of get myself into the habit, because I wasn't in the habit, which it's hard to get into. Like I said, if you're not a heavy, Google Now user, it's very difficult, but if you get into the habit of it, it's extremely powerful, the screen-off stuff. Now, I didn't realize the new iPhone 6, is going to have a screen-off Siri as well, but it's extremely powerful off-screen voice control. It's very powerful. I'm curious, Dora, are you using it that much?
Well,
or are you still trying to get into it?
Well, I'll first say the screen-off notification. I came from such a battery invalid phone that every time I look down and I see the faint white come up of the icon and the notification, I like reach over to turn the screen off. I was like, "What's wrong with you? Stop using battery." I got to remind myself, no, you're really using no battery whatsoever when you do that.
Right, right, because it's a separate processor. It's a low-powered processor.
Right. I'll say yes and no. The touchless controls, as they call it, yes and no. I'm using them, but 3 times now. One happened in this show. 3 times now, I'm just sitting there. Twice, I'm not even talking, and the phone goes blink, and it wants me to say something. I'm like, I didn't say anything. So I obviously got to do a better job in training it, because there is an actual training thing in it.
Yeah. Yes.
I won't say it's blowing me away how good the voice stuff is working, because I abused them on my Galaxy Nexus. I will say it's working quicker, snappier, and it does seem like it's more accurate, but that might be just my, maybe I'm just imagining it, but it does seem like it's more accurate. I will say, I also went to lunch out with a friend yesterday who lived around me since he was 4 years old. He's been away for the last 6 years in the Coast Guard, all over the U.S. kind of thing. He came back. I met him for lunch. And when we were leaving, he said, during lunch, he said, "Yeah, I finally got rid of my iPhone. I know that makes you happy." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, it doesn't make me happy. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters to me." And then we're on the way out. And then, of course, I had to take a shot at iOS. And he said, "Dude, they built some stuff up since I was here last. Where's the post office?" I said, "Dude, what's wrong with you? You don't ask me these questions. You have a computer in your hand as powerful as your desktop from 10 years ago." I said, "Open up your phone. Okay, hit the apps button. Okay, now hit the green Google search. Okay, now open up that Google search. Now see in the top right, there's a mic. When tap that, as soon as you tap it, wait a split second and say, navigate to post office." And he tapped and he said it really fast too. Ding, navigate to post office. And I'm thinking to myself, he said it too fast, it ain't gonna work. And it goes bing, and it pulls up the map and the ABC pointers to the post office. And he said, "Oh my God, that's amazing." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "This phone can do 10 times more than what you think it can do. You just have to figure them out and discover them." I said, "If you want, I'll send you little links and things on how you can do different stuff." I said, "But you never have to ask people these kinds of stupid questions again." And he was just shocked. He was like, "I couldn't do that on the Siri." Now, I'll say he might have been able to. He just didn't know about it on there either.
Yeah, you can do it on Siri. They don't use Google Maps. They use their maps, which annoyed the heck out of me because I had every Google app installed on my iPhone because even though I had an iPhone, I still use all Google services on the back end because I'm a Google user. I mean, I have been. I mean, I use Android, but every time I want to navigate, and I try to use Siri because I wanted to honestly test it against, an Android. It'd always bring up Apple Maps. I'm like, oh, no Apple Maps, no Apple Maps. You guys are going to send me to the moon. No. But, I mean, it does do it. I think you have to word it just correctly. But, I mean, it is definitely useful. You're doing something, you got both hands busy.
Yeah, and I can see abusing it, especially when I'm driving. That's when
yes.
I can see taking utterly, ridiculously full advantage of it. When I'm sitting at home, I still use voice dictation more than I think the average person when I write stuff. But, at work and stuff, I don't think I already talk to myself in my cube. I don't want to encourage myself to do it more. People already think I'm weird. Yeah.
Well, one thing I thought was interesting, you said that phone does not have an LED. I forgot that the first indication that something had changed when I was throwing my little fit and running Q-Flash again and again and again was inside the earpiece, an LED went off and it turned green. The earpiece of the phone turned green. It only happened one time. I never could get it to do it again.
Well, there is one in the earpiece. What? Yeah, I do remember that. It's on the XDA thread, but it's disabled.
You mean like
No, no.
where the 8th inch jack
Earpiece. No, the earpiece. You
Earpiece.
listen to the phone
There's a LED up here by the very top.
Yeah.
inside the speaker area.
Yeah, there is one up there. There's a thread on XDA. You can search for it. I remember it when I had mine. It was a big stinking deal about it. But it's hardware turned off through the processor, so they can't turn it back on.
Gotcha.
It's on purpose turned off, even though they put
Right.
one in there. I think the only purpose it is to show you when the phone is being charged. It's orange to green. That's it. That's why you saw it, Josh, to boot it up. But it is there was a big deal about seeing if we could turn on the LED. Why do we have an LED feature when there's not supposed to be LED, when we have a special touchscreen? I do remember that. Back in January, I remember seeing that thread come up with my Moto X, but it's only for charging purposes. You don't really use it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's one of those things they put in and they decided to hamper, lessen. If they could have taken it out, they might have, And I'll say this. I'm really impressed by this phone, but I can still see myself in less than 5 months getting something else. I don't know what though, because apparently I don't believe there's ever going to be another Nexus on Verizon at this rate, at least.
No, I don't think so.
The Moto X is maybe one of the most pure, optimized versions of Android ever made, because this was, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the only true Motorola device designed and released under the Google ownership.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the
There might be
Moto G,
one more.
maybe.
The Moto G. I don't know about the Moto E, and there's going to probably be one more. The next one is said to be slated, the next Moto X, but that will probably be one of the last ones, because the one after that next year will be Lenovo.
Right. And it's not that I don't think Lenovo could do good. I believe they're going to do really good. But I don't know if I'm going to have a better experience on an Android device under the Verizon umbrella like this. Again, I don't know because I don't know if it's going to be possible to do it.
Well, Lenovo is like the largest mobile device maker outside the U.S.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they're going to come hard and strong in the U.S.
Good. They can have wood too. That's okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm honestly looking forward to all the devices we're going to see open up in the future. But I will say, if I had to change right now, get off this device, the LG G3 was just announced.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would still option for the Moto, for the Mate, the M8, the HTC M8 over the LG G3, and it's only because of that extreme battery savings that you educated me on, Ellis.
Oh, that's a really good reason. My dad now has it. He switched, and don't forget the M8. As far as I know, it's the only one with the unlocked bootloader on Verizon.
Really?
You didn't hear him? He said in Voxer yesterday.
He says a lot of stuff. I don't listen to him. He just come on the show. Why don't you listen to him?
Who cares?
Well, because I looked it up for him because he asked me if it is. I said yes. HTC decided this year that they weren't going to make a developer version. They said, screw you carriers, we're not going to make a developer version. We know that you charge about $200 more for a developer version. Why should we do it? So you can get it, and then you go in, and then you unlock it. After you unlock it, there's an app called Firewater, and you use Firewater, and after it fully unlocks the bootloader. Yeah, he's got right now a fully unlocked bootloader on Verizon. Right now, the EMA is on fire on the forums. It's just going crazy with development. I mean, there's like no one. Well, I posted this on Google Plus. No, Samsung is hurting in sales because no one's buying the S5, at least in the development community, because they're really
crap.
It's crap, and they've got it rooted, but I don't remember if they got the bootloader unlocked. They finally got it rooted, but the M8's got the bootloader. They got it unlocked right away. They don't want to do developer version, so it's on Verizon. It's like the only phone on Verizon that has unlocked bootloader. It's like it's the holy grail phone, and it's fast, great camera. The LG G3 has a better battery because it's bigger, but other than that, it's got everything you need, and you can flash a Google Play ROM. And I've been running Google Play for 2 months now, and I love Google Play ROMs.
Well, how far would you say it's off of like a base AOSP type experience with Google Play, Google Services Framework, Google Maps, stuff like that?
Well, we'll tell you, the Moto X is very similar to Google Play. Because I ran Sense for a long time, and then I decided to do Google Play, which I know last time I brought up was the conversion. I found out the conversion is kind of a set in stone system. If you do the conversion, then you have to go and do the unconversion. But if you don't do the conversion...
It's like unlocking and relocking your bootloader, right? It wipes everything and then you wipe everything again, right?
It kind of does. It resets your partitions. You have to have certain partitions. So when it will shrink your partitions down for Google Play because the Google Play ROM is half the size of a traditional Sense ROM.
Nice.
Which means you'll have more room for apps. But that's it. But people said you honestly don't have to do it. But you'll be flashing a 1 gig ROM, but your partition will be set for 2 gigs. So that means your phone will say that you have a 2 gig ROM when you're actually only using 1 gig. Who really cares? I mean, a lot of people now who are flashing ROMs are like, well, who cares? That means I never have to do the conversion, because if I do the conversion, I got to go and risk a possible breaking my device. So I might as well just not do it and just always have set to 2 gigs and be able to flash any ROM I want, you know.
Well, yeah, and it isn't like the internal storage on the phone. We only have like 4 gigs available to us. I mean, how many people are legitimately having 32 gig phones and running out of space? I would think that's a very low percentage of people.
Probably, and you have SD card on the Mate. So I didn't do the conversion. And a lot of people aren't doing the conversion. They're just like, don't bother with it. It's too much pain. And I love the Google Play. They only have added HTC Weather, they added Boom Sound, which are the dual speakers, and they added all the kernel tweaks for the lock screen. So not for the lock screen, but for the motion gestures, which are like the knock knock and the swipe. So when the screen is off or on, I can lock the phone or unlock the phone, which is really, really handy. So those are only 3 mods they really added. Other than that, it's stock open Android. I'll say that again. It's stock open Android. So you're looking at 3 tweaks and stock open Android. And when 4.4.3 and 4.4.4 were released, within 48 hours, I had it on my phone because HTC released it to the Google Play phones, which developers had the system files for, and they quickly turned into ROMs that fast. 48 hours.
That's insane.
That fast.
That's fantastic.
I am so sold on Google Play Edition ROMs because I'm sold actually over CyanogenMod even, because I mean I actually flashed CyanogenMod last weekend and my speakerphone didn't work because they hadn't figured out the drivers for the speakerphone, and they just forgot the drivers for Wi-Fi. And see, with open source like CyanogenMod, it's pure open source, so it's very similar. They don't get the drivers. They have to reverse engineer. Google Play Edition, they put in all the drivers. HTC puts on the drivers so your camera works, your Wi-Fi works, your Bluetooth works, you know, your proximity sensor works, your GPS works. Everything works, and you're still getting the stock open source Android with just a few HTC tweaks. Like I said, HTC Weather, that my dual speakers work. Oh, yeah, dual speakers don't work on CyanogenMod because we don't have the drivers. So I only get one speaker works, either the top one or the bottom one, but not both speakers. Huh. It kind of sounds funny when you have 2 speakers and you can only hear it on one side when you're playing a video. Very bizarre. And, you know, I get my kernel tweaks where I can unlock the phone. I'm so sold on Google Play Edition phones, because they're just like upgraded Nexuses. they're just like upgraded Nexuses that are, on with all the good hardware, with the full blown out hardware with all the great ROM. I just love Google Play Edition. It's nice that they make the ROMs for the people who didn't buy their phones. Actually, they bought the regular traditional stock Sense phones, or if you had TouchWoods phones, you can get the Play Edition ones. There's developers out there. So I'm very definitely sold on Play Edition for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, the CyanogenMod thing, it's, dare I say, your typical open source hardware conundrum, which is the M8 is like a brand new Dell laptop with brand new hardware in it. If you go to load a Linux distribution on that, the likelihood of having complete hardware working is low. You'll get
exactly.
You'll get the processor working, you'll get the NIC working, but other things might not be working. And then and then on the timeline, there's a certain place. It might be 6 months, it might be 8 months, it might be 12 months, it might be 14 months, where you load a Linux distro and everything works. So the M8 is so new, it probably takes 2 to maybe 3, maybe 6 more months until a CyanogenMod, you install it, and you'll have the Wi-Fi, and you'll have, the knock-knock, and you'll have the 2 speakers, and you have the other things like that, but it's still too young, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, you just can't beat Play Edition. I mean, the code rolls out. Open source code rolls out right for the Nexus devices, and you get it within 48 hours, 2 days. It's bam. It's there. It's ready for, and developers can get it, and they can pull the source files if they have Play Edition phones, and they can turn straight to ROMs, which people can grab it. So I'm like, where's Android L? Because I know as soon as Android L, the official source code releases, I'm going to have it like as fast as a Nexus device gets it. I'm literally just going to have it within, a day or two, right after a Nexus 5 gets it. I mean, no joke, because I have a Play Edition ROM built off of a Play Edition device, so those source files are going to drop real fast.
Right. Well, we've been going for about an hour. Here's a last question I got for both of you guys, and this is pure speculation question. Android L. Why would you guys think they've named it Android L and they haven't named it Ladyfinger, Laffy Taffy? I mean, something with an L word. Why do you guys think there could be any reason why they're doing that? Because I'm thinking everything Google does, they do for a reason. The only question is, do we know of the reason?
They're trying to get more into the corporate market.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. They might not have been able to strike a deal with an L company. Maybe Laffy Taffy, I don't know. Lemonheads, maybe they weren't able to strike that deal, so dare I say...
Buy the company if they needed to.
Well, I mean, maybe they don't want to be in the candy business. I don't know. because there's plenty of L stuff out there they could use. You know what I mean? It's just, looking and using it. But for some reason, they keep trying it Android L. And dare I say, this is not politically correct for me to say. Every time they say Android L, I keep thinking, the only time I've heard someone say an L word kind of thing is when years ago when someone didn't feel comfortable saying the word lesbian. So it's like them calling it the L, Android L, really confuses me, and it makes me always stop and think, why would they do this? This makes no sense to me. I honestly think it hurts the branding of Android to call it Android L.
I think it's not. I don't think it's a good thing because we're used to a certain naming scheme, and when you change things, it makes people nervous. That was my first thought.
I think they just haven't named it yet. There's been a lot of speculation, exactly what you're saying, Dor. I've heard a lot of people ask, why is there not a name? Why is there not a name? But there's one thing you have to remember, that the current version of Android L that we have right now is the developer preview. So many people have said this. It's only a preview for developers to try It's considered an basically an alpha. There's a lot of bugs in it.
Good
so
point.
it's not. They've mentioned it. It's not an official open source release. There's going to be a lot of changes, and I know one of the things I posted was about regarding art, about expose in Android L support. And I mean, the developer for it, Rovo89, he's mentioned that since they've released developer preview, they've actually changed art several times in the source code. They've done several changes. And it says, remember, and he's like, I'm not going to officially support it with my expose, a new set of frameworks, until they're done final tweaking it. He's like, because this is a preview. He says we're just 2 weeks out of I/O, and they're still tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it because they're watching all the feedback from everyone who's installing the preview. He said, and we've heard in the news, word got back to development community about doing interchangeable toggles for the quick settings. I know that's been all over the news. Someone actually mentioned it on a comment on Google support, and it got passed up the chain, and the development community are like, "Oh, you want interchangeable toggles? Well, we'll definitely think on that." Which we've had that in ROMs for quite a while.
Yeah,
for 2 years. So that's been quite a bit in the news lately about how that actually just someone made a comment and it got passed up the chain, and now the developers for Android L at Google are like, oh, we never thought people would want interchangeable toggles or want to customize them. So, I mean, if they actually put it in, there'll be no need for exposed gravity box or stuff to change your toggles and stuff. Or for ROMs to do it, it'll come stock. Which iPhone actually did that. I think with the iPhone 5, they start introducing interchangeable stuff for the control panel. Yeah. So
the thing is, if they integrate some of those things we've had for years through ROMs, if they integrate that in, what Signage and Model do, or not, exposed modules will take things like craptastic TouchWiz and make it usable. Because I'm running stock on my Note 3 and I've got it usable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'll end it by saying, mark my words. When Android L comes out, I will not upgrade my Android experience to Android version L unless A, they incorporate a lot of the features that I like from stuff like Exposed, or B, the exposed people get it working on Android L. If both of those things don't exist, I am not upgrading to Android L. There's too many things that I have the ability to make better via exposed. Period. And it really makes my experience on the phone much more fulfilled, full-featured, streamlined, efficient, and usable. I don't want to lose out on that. I don't care about flat, colorful tiles that much, or enhanced notifications that really appear to be nothing more than like pop-up ads on Internet Explorer 3 on Windows 98. I mean, those notifications I saw really would make me super mad in like under a day, because I'm doing something and all of a sudden there's like a pop-up, a fifth of my screen being taken up by a toast type notification. I don't need that. I don't want that. Okay. I will say I thank you guys for coming out. Ellis, is there any site service you want to promote?
You can find me on Google Plus. I'm ClarkKent434 or Ellis Owens. I slightly changed it up with the name change just to make it more fluent with my YouTube. I'm also on YouTube as well. You guys can follow me there. I'm ClarkKent434. I'm on Twitter. Actually, everything I post on Twitter is relinked to my Google Plus, so a lot of it gets reshared there. So
Gotcha.
I've got it tied in because of if and that, or that was it.
If then that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
The most powerful, flexible, functional web service available on the internet. If you don't know what it is, act like you know what it is, and then go to ifttt.com. KnuckleHeadTech, is there anything you would like to say?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank everyone for their support. Thanks everyone for their downloads. If you can, don't forget podnuts.com/Amazon. Seamless, easy, frictionless, and the way to support Podnuts without spending a dime more money. We will talk to everyone again in a fortnight.
All right, stop recording. Stop.
Oh. Yeah, the MacBook has the S3, man. I used that S3 for like 2 days, I want to say. And I said, there's no way I can use this phone. I will take this phone outside to a curb, and I will stomp it.
What was this, 13?
This was 13, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, then that touch whiz on that S3 and how sluggish it was, fresh. I said there's no way I can use this phone. There's no way I can.
Well, I was messing with an S5 today, or yesterday, and I was surprised how snappy it is.
I'm sure it's better. There's no doubt in my mind it's better, but I'm in the firm camp of Samsung. There's only one way they can go, and that's down.
Oh, they're going down.
They're too big.
Yeah. That's why they're starting to push Tizen.
Right. I think so too.
I mean, I already posted on Google Plus that they were losing sales, and it's quite obvious. HTC is up right now. They're making profits and they're down. So, yeah, and we know that they're starting to push Tizen. Russia and China have already got the Galaxy Z, which is the Tizen phone.
Right.
It's Galaxy S5 with Tizen on it. So I would love to see. I haven't seen anyone in America done a review on it, but I should start looking for like Russian reviews or something. But man, yeah, I'm like, someone please do actual physical review because I want to see that thing. I mean, I bet it's really fast since it doesn't have touch widgets. It's Tizen. It
should be. Yes, it should be really.
And it's a Galaxy
fast.
S5 of all things. It's a brand new freaking hardware setup.
Yeah, I like the fact that the communists get it before we get it. Just doesn't seem fair.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Between that and Android Wear, oh my goodness, Android Wear is crazy right now.
It's blowing up to the point where you basically just got to get out of its way.
I know.
You just got to get out of its way because people are literally like, this is like Walmart Black Friday. Just get out of the people's way.
I know.
Get out of her way. Let the dust settle, and what comes out, you'll then patiently decide.
I did not realize how big this would blow up. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it crazy? Android Wear. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, well, it's definitely as hot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I ain't gonna lie. 2 days after the Moto X died on me, bricked, I technically had enough money to where I could have bought one of those Android Wear watches on the day they got released.
Yeah.
But I said, if I do buy one, the only reason I'm going to buy it is to give it away because I am not using it. I tried wearing watches.
My dad's gonna buy one. He's already invested in money, so.
Well, he can, but I tried to wear watches since like the age 10 through like 22, and every watch I ever bought in under 5 days was broke from me hitting it on a door jam or something, you know. And it wasn't just like, you know, Casio calculator watches.
Only watch I ever had last was one of those G-Shock watches, and that lasted probably 5 years. Till it got ran over by a end dump.
What?
Dump truck, whatever you guys call them.
The big boys.
Yeah. But even then, I couldn't wear it on my watch. I had to hang it off my belt. I can't stand things on my wrist. As dumb as it sounds, when I wear watches, it makes me feel like I'm wearing handcuffs. I can't take it.
I'm going to argue that. I mean, I'd sooner go for a monocle. I'd sooner go for like a slim bracelet. I can't remember what podcast I was listening to, but the guy said what he would rather have, and this makes honestly God more sense than me to me, a semi-rugged sleeve device that goes up like an arm wrap kind of thing versus just a little watch with a little battery and a little screen.
Yeah.
I'm just not in the camp of a watch being cool. But I never wanted a Rolex or anything like that either. So
Yeah, me either.
I have several watches. I used to wear them all the time, and now I've kind of gradually. I don't know. I used to wear watches all the time when I was in the service. But you know, we always had to have watches with us for timing and maneuvers and when to go, when to not. And then when I got out, I kind of just like. The only time I need to know a watch is when I have a VA appointment because I just sit home and, you know, edit and record. So I'm like, who cares about time? Screw it.
right.
My phone's gonna bug me when I need to see time. That's it. I don't ever care about time. You know.
I'll say this.
I'm already uploading through
BitTorrent.
Yeah.
Or okay. Now I'll just say this, and technically anyone can laugh at me because I don't care. I would literally rather option for a smart wallet before I option for a smartphone.
What do you mean by smart wallet?
Yeah, that's
a bigger screen device with a bigger battery life. It could literally be like a 3-day battery life. It could be a bigger screen, and it could have more storage and more capability and more everything because it's a bigger device. And who doesn't have a wallet? I'm just saying. Most people have wallets.
My wallet.
I know, but people are more likely to have a wallet than a watch. I'm just saying.
That's true. I know they do that with some of the iPhones, but I carry a very slim wallet. I have I'll have to look at the brand. It folds over the money on the one side, and the other side you just got 3 slots for cards. I think that's it. That's all I carry.
I'm your typical George Costanza wallet. This thing is too big, and I'm broke.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't carry that. I have a money clip on one side, and the other side I have 3 slots for cards, and that's it. And I can put about 6 cards in each slot, and that's it. That's all I carry. I have a super skinny wallet. Because I used to carry a wallet like you, Dora. I had tons of cards and everything, and it just got too full.
Yeah, it's just too much crap. All right, guys, I want to turn off the live stream. Thanks, everyone, for coming out.
We've got big bowls.
Okay, it says it's done. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You'll have to